Welcome to another Tactics Talk. We'll be talking about the Oxford game tomorrow at 12:30. Sam, quick first thoughts on the game. Obviously, you've not actually been to many this season because you've been away and whatnot. But
there's only been 2 home games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've not seen it since like the first few games. But what's your take going into this game? Because again, 3 wins out of 4, I'd say is a very decent start.
Yeah, it's not bad. Could always be better, obviously, but I think we've played some pretty mediocre football for a lot of that. But it's good that we've scraped past wins. And Birmingham definitely felt like a lot more passion out there, which was the game I went to. Prior to that, the Preston and I forgot who else we played now. Preston, Charlton, both those games. Felt a bit lacklustre, felt like we didn't really want it, but it seemed like there's a bit more change in mentality against Birmingham, and I don't know if that's just because players knew they were going to stick around, so they're going to just start playing now for the club. You never know really what the mentality is or what they're thinking, but after Birmingham's game, I've got a lot of confidence that we should go and beat Oxford tomorrow.
No, I completely agree, and I think that in a way, as much as we maybe thought that the performances weren't there as highly qualified and whatnot, I think the difference between when we lost to Preston to the Charlton and the Birmingham game, we've seen maybe a bit of an improvement in maybe the link between the fans and the quality of the play. Again, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think there's an improvement in the fight and the determination to get the wins out of the game.
That's all fans ever really asked for, and obviously the last, you'd probably say 2 seasons. Enzo on was, there was a lot of passion and it was going okay, but I think you could still feel that like when things did go wrong, it was starting to get toxic. In that 10-game stint towards the end of the season, and Enzo was getting a little, come on guys, Enzo, let's do something, players, let's do something. And last season, obviously, it was a massive toxic train wreck, as it was the season under Brendan. And I think it's kind of translated into this season with obviously not much happening in the transfer window until the last day and everything. But now that's all shut out, and we've got the players are here. So hopefully everyone wants to play, and I think the fans are kind of just going to move on. I mean, we don't help ourselves by singing, like I said, Rudkin out chants. We're never really going to escape the toxicity if we keep doing, things that will just make toxic. We're our own worst enemies. We're going to keep making ourselves mad by those things. But, the thing between now and at least till January the 1st, nothing's going to happen. No more players are going to come in or out, really. So let's just, see what's going to happen and see what we can do with the team we've got now.
No, I agree. We'll move into the team then. Obviously, we'll start with you. I'm going to go through a bit of a different formation in this game. But going into your team, goalkeeper, I would go and say you've only got one choice, or maybe we've got another now.
We've got 3 choices technically.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go to Larchich. I think he's number 1 for us. I don't think he's not going to get picked unless he gets injured, or obviously it's a cup game.
Yeah.
Obviously we're not going to play a cup game for a while now. But I think there's not much to say. I don't think he's done too much wrong. I think he's not really had much to do. He had against, I think, Charlton, he did some great saves. So, I think he's a decent keeper for us.
Well, what do you reckon to this new keeper that we brought in?
I actually don't know anything about him.
No, I don't either, but was it a shock to see that him coming into the door? Because, again, he maybe just need that third choice in case Begovic isn't that guy who will be playing for us as a background coach.
I'm generally surprised that we've signed 3 goalkeepers. We're obviously signing 2 and now have 3 this window. Yeah. Usually, the case with most clubs is you have a first-team goalkeeper, a bench goalkeeper, and then your academy goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that we have 3 keepers that you could, some clubs would probably say all 3 of them could fit into most championship teams. Begovic certainly could fit into some lower half championship teams, and this new keeper probably the same. So a little bit surprised that we did sign him. I don't really, know too much about him. I think he's just a fringe player for, was it Atletico, wherever, Valencia? I can't remember where he came from. Real Betis, and he was one of the Spanish ones. So I don't know. Again, I guess it's just adding to sort of, I think maybe a bit unnecessary in my eyes, but it's not going to do us any harm, is it?
No.
Other than the wage bill, but I can't imagine it's a lot.
No, I agree. That's why I put Stolisic in goal as well. I'm going to go for my backline first because I've got 3 in the backline instead of 4. And that's maybe showing you a way that I want to play. In the middle, for me, I'm going to go Vestergaard. I think out of all the players in this season or so far, I think he's been quite solid. I'm going to go Vestergaard in the middle. On the left, I'm going to go Ben Nelson. Only because, again, it's against his old club, and I think there's a chance he might get a game in. And with the back 3, I think you'd shoot better in the back 3 than the back 4. And then on the right, I'm going to go with Coley. Again, it's only preference. Again, we probably will just play with 2 wing backs and 2 centre backs. But I think someone like Oxford, who I think I've only got 1 win or not even many wins this season, I think they're gonna struggle, and I think we need to be on them as much as we can. So I think 3 at the back can be a good one to start with against these.
Yeah,
you're gonna disagree.
I think too defensive against a team that's struggling isn't really my best thing. Again, like you've said,
that's not even too defensive.
I mean, it is though, because
I think it's Leicester.
Well, no, because you're gonna have 5 centre backs when defending, and for me, you've got 1 less attacker because you've got 1 in the centre back.
Well, compared to that formation, you would say that that's 4 up front, and I would say that's 5 up front.
It depends on what you class as up front. It depends on how we play, because if we play with the traditional wingers and wing backs like we have been, then
but I'm not using wing backs in this game. I wouldn't be using these wingers as the wing backs. I'd be using them as out and out wingers. I'm using 3-2-4-1. Again.
It leaves us very exposed at the same time, though. It's also
then you'd have one of these to cover up.
I mean, I don't really like that system personally. For me, there's not enough. I think I don't know. I just think you're exposing yourself a lot in the spaces where we've been exposed all season. By reducing, having less defenders, and then if you don't have those defenders, I don't know. Personally, for me, I wouldn't. Get into my team.
Go on.
Vestergaard, Coley, I think the 2 centre backs at the moment. Not doing too much wrong. Vestergaard being okay, Coley being okay. A couple of mistakes here and there, but they put in some good performances. They've done some good blocks and whatnot. Like I say, Birmingham definitely felt way more solid. But again, I'm not too happy with the fact that we had that many shots conceded against us, especially considering the amount of shots that we took. I mean, if you ask me, I definitely wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like we need to be attacking a bit more. I think we need to be putting more pressure up the pitch and not sitting back. I feel we let Birmingham attack us, and against going away to Oxford, I'd like to see us just play a bit more nicer football.
That's why I've gone for 3 at the back. So I think we need to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think it does make it more aggressive. I think it just makes us really easy to counter attack. Because we lose.
If we hold the ball, they can't.
Yeah, but we haven't been holding on to the ball.
No, but this is where I think Cifuentes, in a way, either if you're against a team who are going to struggle against possession-based football, that's where you kind of play a bit more higher up. Whereas if you're playing the likes of Birmingham, who you don't want to get caught out by, you play more defensive like we did. So
I mean, I'm all for adapting to the teams we're playing against.
And I think Oxford is someone who, again, not expected to go down, but are going to be in their positions.
I agree to be more attacking. So, like I say, I haven't even thought about the team I want to play really yet. So, I mean, we'll get into it. I mean, you can move on to your other players if you want to. I can finish. I'll finish off my defence first. So, left back Thomas. Again, not too much to complain about at the moment. Scott's in there. We still have Christiansen as an option as well, I guess, at some point, if he does come back into the team. Right back, I guess it's between Chowdhury and Pereira, so probably going to put Pereira back into the team. Hopefully he's fully fit now. He looks pretty good. He's obviously scored the 2nd goal against Birmingham. And I know he could play more up that pitch, so I don't know if I don't know if we're bringing him on at the 60 or 70 minute mark to be the right winger. Take over Fatawi, but we've obviously brought in some new players to potentially take over some of those roles now and do those other bits. So I'm going to put Pereira back in the right back spot for me, and have him more as I guess a right wing back to help when we're attacking and be solid in defending. He's definitely got more pace in Chowdhury to run up and down to get the ball.
Yeah, well, I think one reason why I switched to three at the back is because I think out of all the positions this season in our team, I think that's been exposed the most is because of Thomas. I think he's not strong enough at the one-way wing back, and I just don't think. I don't know. He does it well because he's a young player.
I don't think he's been exposed. I think he just doesn't have the help around him. I think,
and that's where I feel like going for the three at the back will have more cover when it comes.
No offense, when it comes to the defense, but when it comes to the defensive mid and also the winger, you've either got Monga, who's probably too inexperienced to realise that, and he's probably he's been trying to work on to track back. Marididi, we know, is too lazy. Samari,
I think Marididi did okay last game.
But he's not tracking. I don't think he does that much. And the same with Samari. I don't think either of them massively help out in the left back spot. I'm not talking just about them tracking back into the box, or I'm talking about when Thomas is under pressure with 2 or 3 players. Neither of them are really close by to help him. So far, I mean, Birmingham's a little bit different, but in the other games like Charlton and that, he was exposed, but nobody was helping him. Nobody was, Cifuentes didn't really change anything to out help him in that game. Really?
No, I agree. And I do agree. Again, I think maybe against these lower sort of teams, who I think we can probably.
We should be attacking these teams. You said the same against Charlton. They were a low-level team and all over.
No, but the difference was they were very aggressive.
So could Oxford be.
No, they could be. But what we're saying is, from past experience, from what we've seen previous games over the season, not us, but in general, people have been saying that Charlton have got good results at the moment because they've been very aggressive in how their play style is.
Charlton, the 16th. I don't know. They've got 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 draw. That's not results.
For a team that's just got promoted,
they have scored 7 and conceded 7.
Yeah, for a team that's just been promoted, I'd say decent.
No, they've scored 2 and they've conceded 4.
Yeah,
the first 4 games.
And I would say, compared to, for a team that's just come up from League One, I'd say that they're doing all right. 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. I'd say that's a decent start.
I mean, I disagree. I don't think that's.
And one of them losses was because of us.
That's what I mean. Though they beat us, so if
they didn't. They lost us.
Okay, I can't even remember the results now.
Charlton lost us 1-0.
Yes, they did. So, but again, if you look at the stats, they were
all over 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss.
So okay, that's fair enough. I thought that we drew to them.
But that's why I'm saying that when it comes to some Oxford, who are probably not going to be as high level.
We should be them. We should, but we also shouldn't be like against Charlton conceding 20 shots when we have 6.
No, you shouldn't.
To me, that's not good enough for a club like us.
I think the difference is we've felt like 4 out of the
But when you play teams like we did against Plymouth almost, we didn't do enough in the attack. Again, these are the same stats that we had under Enzo. Then we go to Plymouth and we have all these chances. I remember we were at the pub watching that game. And we have all these chances, and yet the Plymouth have, 1 good breakaway chance, they score and they beat us. And that's the only stat that matters at the end of the day, which is why against Charlton, it only matters how we beat them.
No, I agree.
But I feel like if you give it some teams, the more chances you give to teams like the Oxfords and all those teams around us, like Preston did, if you just give them the chance to beat us every time, if you give them multiple opportunities, multiple shots on target, because Charlton's stats, apart from possession, they're better than us in shooting and shots on target. And if they were more clinical, they beat us.
No, I agree.
They had more shots on target than we had shots in total.
I agree.
I don't want us to do the same against Oxford, in my eyes. I would rather be the team that takes control, because to me that isn't taking control.
Have you seen what the team at the 4 at the back like we have been saying over the last few games, showing us that we are in control? I don't think we have.
Say again.
I don't think this lineup in this formation we have been setting up majority of the games of them this season has shown us that we have what it takes to control the game.
But we should, though, with all those players.
We should. But that's why I'm trying maybe switching up and having more midfielders might help us keep hold of the ball more.
But we don't play through the middle.
Sometimes playing the wingers, but then you have them like I'm kind of setting up in the end way where the players will make the inside as your wingers are coming inside to cut in and whatnot.
I'd be more than happy to play that way. I'm just going off again. These.
You saw that
I am sure that Cifuentes is going to be quite a stubborn manager, which is fine when it works. like Enzo was stubborn. He did not change.
Don't get
how
me wrong.
played,
I think Cifuentes will adapt, but when it comes to having these new players in, I think this is maybe more the system he's able to play now because he has the players to do that.
I mean, I guess only time will tell. For me, I guess I'm so just brain rotted into this system that this is how we're going to play.
Yeah. Well, I'm moving to my midfielders.
Not
first.
that like I said, not that I want to be thinking that all the time, but
my first midfielder is the only one that should be starting in this season. After his last few performances, and that's Sumaro.
His last one performance.
I think Charlton was decent as well. He got the assist for the goal.
That's all he did, though. He wasn't tracking.
He was decent.
No,
people have their agendas on him, and that's it.
People have their opinions on him, and also look at how he actually plays. I go off everything he's done in the past 3 years for us.
Yeah, exactly. And then you read him thinking he's not as good as a pink.
He had one good game.
I think this season he'd be one.
Birmingham, and he should do though, really, because he's a £25 million player that won the French league a few years ago. He should be better than Championship level.
Yes, he should
Oxford.
Be. I honestly think he's been one of our better players this season.
I disagree. I think he's been okay.
And then the other midfielder spot, I am going to go Ricardo Pereira. And as much as probably maybe Skip probably deserves it after last game, I'm sorry. When Ricardo's fit, he plays in midfield for me. And there's an option where someone like Winks might come back in now the window's closed, but I think you're too.
I don't know. I've got a sneaky feeling I might not see Winks play for us again under Cifuentes.
You never know.
Long as the other players.
You never know. That's how I'm going to set up my midfield, my defensive midfield areas. We'll go to yours then. Do you think you should be playing in that midfield spot?
Again, I agree going more attacking. So, I'm not going to play out-and-out defensive mids. So, James Jordan.
You think he'll start?
Yeah, of course I do. He's not been brought in to not play.
No, I'm saying I don't think he'll play because he's just been on international.
Well, so with a lot of players, that doesn't mean they won't play. I don't know if two first names, can't tell which way it is. Jordan James.
There you go.
So I think he'll play. Obviously, put him as centre mid, so he'll be higher up that pitch. And I think Samari will play as well, more box to box, not out and out defensive mid, not out and out pushing centre mid. I think that he'll probably play a little bit higher up the pitch. Hence why I've got just 4 out and out centre backs, and I probably do the inverted defensive mid with Pereira at some point in the game. When we're on the attack, then you split to more of a 3 at the back.
I would go out.
And then Pereira defensive mid whilst the others can attack.
I would go out and say that James, I would start in that role, but I don't think he'll start versus these. Just because I think he's only just played against. He played for Wales on Tuesday, and then he's only just come back. No, I know, but we've been only having 1 or 2 training sessions. He's got to obviously get to
he's been brought into play. If you ask me, our team looks pretty bad in the midfield.
No, don't get me wrong. I think
we've been run around. When you look at Samari and Skip, both of them, by the way, they had a pretty good game against Birmingham. But I'm judging it at the other 3 games where we've been run around. We've made mistakes. Samari, Okoli, Skip. They've all been making mistakes. The only, like I say, Birmingham was a bit of a silver lining because they did play quite well. Even Skip putting in some good tackles and that. But again, it's one of those things where I'm not going to look at it at one game. Cifuentes might look at it and go, well, I'm going to start the exact same team against Birmingham because it won and they won 2-0, probably the most comfortable we've looked all season. So he might go out there and play the same team.
I think he will play this season. I think he will get into the team majority more games than he doesn't. What I'm saying is I think this one game because of the international break and he's only had 1 or 2 training sessions with the coach.
This is the best game to put him in though because it's Oxford.
Maybe so.
The Oxford are no offence if any Oxford fans are watching, but they'll be one of the easiest teams that we'll have to face this season. Newly promoted team.
Say that you said we could have said that against Charlton.
Yeah, we should have, and we beat them, but it wasn't easy, which is why I'm not happy with the overall result of the statistics because we weren't good enough against Charlton, even though we won. We got a good goal, and then we scraped the rest of the game. That's all we did.
No, I agree. We'll move into the attacking sections then. Do you know what? As much as I said that they might not start, I think there's not many options in the attacking roles to be put in.
Not El Canus has got.
No. So for me, I am putting Aaron Ramsey in. Even though he's not on here, unless I'm spelling his name wrong. Aaron Ramsey, there you go. Aaron Ramsey in the first spot and James in the second role.
Do you think he'll start as well?
Only because, thinking about it now, there's no one else to play. in that role. There's not. I don't think there is. Unless you would say Page, but I don't think
Page
he's ready.
Well, he did well against Birmingham, so
He did okay against them. I wouldn't say he's outstanding, or I wouldn't say he's done
the assist for the first goal.
No, I agree. And Monga got the assist for the second goal.
Yeah, but like I said, we don't utilise our attack. We haven't.
But I'd rather these two start than Page, in my opinion. I don't know whether that's.
I would agree as well to some extent. Obviously, we'll move on into my team, and I agree. I'll put Ramsey in the attacking mid role. I'm playing with James again. I'm just going off what I see from some of these players. We had this conversation before international break. I said maybe play James as the attacking mid. People said no, he's not an attacking mid.
He is a 10. They can play wide as well.
Well, everyone was saying he was a midfielder, not an attacking midfielder.
Who?
James.
Oh, James isn't. No, he's a
so
box-to-box
I would have,
midfielder.
because as far as I know, Ramsey's more of a left winger. Attacking.
Maybe he would play more kind of this role, and then maybe James does.
I don't know. Maybe it would just have like a trifecta of midfielders between the three. Just I don't know, slotting in. But I think that's somewhat how my team line up. I mean, it looks very narrow, but that's I'd put Ramsey into the team. We again, like I said, we brought his players in to bolster the squad. I don't think we're going to bring them in to not.
He knows how to finish. I wouldn't say that. I've seen him. Seen his.
Again, like I said, this for me, Oxford is the perfect game to introduce these new players because they'll be hungry enough where they should want to go out there and do something, and they should all be thinking in their minds. And again, I know it's not the best thing. You should never underestimate your opponent. They should all be thinking, and the manager and whoever controls whatnot, they should all be going out saying it's Oxford. They're not the best team. They're not going to be the hardest team we faced. They're certainly not the hardest team we faced in the first 5 games. Obviously, this will be one of the easier ones. Yeah. On paper, I think it is probably the easiest one. If you look at the table right now.
Well, the next 4 is the easiest one because the next 3 after that
so
very hard.
It's one of those games where if you don't introduce some of these players now,
you've got to get them ready for the Coventry game.
Again, do you go in saying, "Oh, well, we did well against Birmingham. Let's keep it comfortable." For me, I disagree. I think you go in, you play these players, see what they've got. At least you give them the first half. You know, you can make 5 subs now, can't you? So just do it then. If they're not playing as well, then okay, then you bring. They
need to be implemented before the Coventry game next week, the week after. We'll move into the wingers then and whatnot. Obviously, there's only one main man for the right-hand spot, Pataru. He's clearly one of our best players, and there's no doubt about it that if we go up, it's going to be mainly one big reason why it's going to be him.
He can help. I think he can help. I also think he needs to switch on a little bit more football brain-wise. Again, I'm not going to...
I don't think anyone would tell him that, in the fact of scoring 2 quality goals and everything like that. I think he's basically doing everything he can do.
He's doing well, but for me, yeah. But I've also seen him in a couple of games where he's trying too many wayward shots. And again, I think this might be down to solely he thinks he's the best player in the attack, which I would agree with, but I don't think I necessarily agree with that now. I think he's got better players around him with Ramsey, James, and this new striker that's coming in.
I wouldn't say better players.
I would say better than what he was having, better than Page, better than
Samari. Yeah, he's got better players around him. I wouldn't say they're better players than him.
No, I'm not saying him. I'm saying the better players around him to help him.
Yeah, so he might be even better.
It felt like in the first 4 games of the season that he was trying to do everything himself.
Yes.
It felt like he couldn't trust his players.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that bringing in these better players, hopefully, they will help him. I'm not saying they're better than him, but they will give him more options because it felt like he was just trying to do everything on his own. And you can see he can clearly do a lot of good stuff. He scores some nice goals and that, but there's also times when it doesn't come off, it's like he's a one-trick pony a little bit when he's skilling and shooting on the edge of the box. But again, he's definitely by far our best player, especially attacking-wise. So for me, having better players, we've got to utilise them.
And then I'd say not on par because he's I wouldn't say because he's not that level yet. But another player that I think could be an instrumental player in our team is a Mr. Monga, and I don't think he'll be on this thing. So we're gonna have to go for the Monge again. But Monga for me starts over Mavadidi at the moment because Mavadidi's not doing anything to prove it otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's hard to disagree with that one. I don't think many will argue that Mavadidi starts over Monga. It's going to be one of those weird things where you probably find whoever starts actually underperforms and they're going to outplay each other.
Are you going for Taro, by the way?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Tatu, obviously. But Monga did start, I think it was the Charlton game where he did start.
No, he didn't. The Charlton game he didn't. He did. And then Mavididi came back in Birmingham.
Monga did nothing essentially in the Charlton game, and then Mavididi comes back.
Whoever starts doesn't do the work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I agree. Put Monga into the team. I have to expect it's going to be one of those seasons where whoever's playing is going to not be as good as whoever comes on off the bench. Not that Medidi's done anything, by the way, off the bench, but
whoever seems to come off the bench seems to do better than the person on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then the last position, mate, is the main man up front. Which
I mean, it's got to be the new striker.
I would agree.
I think it kind of has to be. I mean,
he's the one player that has been here since the international break started.
Yeah.
So he has had the most.
If you look at the players we've got now, I think you can kind of see he's not an out-and-out a striker. When you look at the way he's playing way more as a false nine, coming back to help the defence.
Are you going Carranza?
Yeah.
What are you?
No, I'm going Carranza because I think we need an out-and-out striker. So I think Ayu's good, but I think he's sub-merchant. I think, the last 30 minutes of game to settle things down, I think that's definitely way more his role.
Yeah, because we had to put Monge in because there's no Monga on here.
And Daka's just Daka, he's useful as... Again, there's so many things been said about him, so I'm not going to harp on, but, Daka doesn't get to the team for me, so I think you've got to start the new striker. He's been brought in to play, so like I said, with all these players, they've not been brought in to be bench fodder. It's not a whatever SBC.
I would understand if one or two players out of the new ones didn't start and they're on the bench for an impact, but I think the one player out of all 3 or 4 of them that we brought in, I would say that the striker is the one to start because the other strikers haven't scored yet.
Yeah,
and he's the only one that's been here
if you look at the whole team, I think they all start because Carranza, again, we've got 2 strikers who are very, like I say, Ayew is not really an out-and-out striker and Daka's bad. Ramsey, there's, with El Kanous gone, you've got Page, and that's it now to play that role. So Ramsey's got to come in. James, for me, you've got Winks who doesn't want to play for us because he hasn't been playing for us. Obviously, that's evident by the way Cifuentes hasn't chosen him. And then you've got Sumari and Skip who are both more defensively minded than someone like James. So for me, again, you play James because you want to have, again, if you want to play more attacking football, you've got to play someone like James, if you ask me, because we need to have that more, aggressive style of play. And you would say Winks kind of slots into, but I say James is way more of a central midfielder.
Out of our midfielders now we've got, I would actually go out and say that other than Sumari, I think James will be a very impactful player for us now. I think the way he plays and the way he strengthens his way through midfield, I think he's going to be a quality player for us. But again, I just don't know whether being in the international team with Wales, I don't think he gets straight in. I think he maybe comes off the bench. Again, he might start.
But he didn't start for Wales, though. He didn't play every minute for Wales. He didn't play both games 90 minutes.
Keith,
again, he's a professional footballer. He can play football.
Keith, Monge is Monga, by the way. Curtis does say, though, great lineup. I'd take that. Again, that's your team, and this is my team. It's basically identical.
It's fairly similar.
Again, other than I go 3 at the back.
You're playing more of, I don't know, I guess, 2025 football. Let's make it tactical and probably put Pereira at right back when we're defending and blah blah blah.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All that schmutz nonsense, that I can't be asked to talk about because it's way too much for my brain to handle. I'm not.
I like it. So.
I'm not smart enough like you really to think about that stuff. I'm just gonna stick to the basics of football and play with, a glorified 4-4-2, I guess, essentially, isn't it? Really. Yeah, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it. So they're our lineups for the game. I don't think you get much wrong. I hope we do introduce the new players into the team. I think, like I say, Oxford would be a great opportunity to do it.
Yeah. Score prediction before we finish.
I'm
going 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to actually have a positive, convincing result. Again, I think if we play the players that we've both picked, if we play the new players, I think you could see a 3 or 4-0 because I think they'll all go out with a lot of passion and intention to score because they're all attacking minded players. Bear in mind the players we brought in, so they'll all want to be like, I want to get an assist, get a goal, I want to do something useful up the top of the pitch. That's what we're brought in to do. If we start those players, I think we could win 3-0 easily. I think if we go in with maybe what we did against Birmingham, I'm going to say 1-0, and stats wise again, you probably should be like, well, it is what it was last time. like it was against Charlton. Not to be negative, but I just think without having that too many attacking-minded players and fresh faces, I can only go off what I've seen in the past 4 games, which was, like I said, stats-wise, again, you're getting Charlton dominating us in that department, but we still win. But only time will tell. I'll go 3-0 as well, because we really should be beating Team Oxford 3-0, especially at this point in the season when, like you said, it's Coventry the week after, so
Need to get
we've got to get some momentum in that team and actually get a convincing result, destroy him on stats, destroy him on the pitch, destroy him in the goal department as well, and let's start boosting our own stats, because if there's points deduction does happen as well, really, these are the kind of teams where we do need to, even stuff like goal difference could help us out, when let's not beat these teams 1-0, let's go and beat them 3-0, because let's get some positive goal difference up there.
No, I completely agree, and again, I'm going to go out and check tomorrow morning if there's a bet for Carranza to score a hat-trick.
Probably won't be as convincing as you think. It'd probably be quite low odds, because he's the new player. Probably give him 2-1 or something.
What, for a hat-trick?
Oh, for a hat-trick?
Yeah.
I don't know.
3-0 hat-trick.
What are the odds for a hat-trick these days? They ain't that good.
I'm going to check.
I bet they're not that good. I bet they won't give you any better than 30-1.
I'll check.
I bet that's all they'll give
3-0 Carranza hat-trick, and you'd probably be loaded. There you go, guys. Appreciate everyone coming on. There are our teams again. I'll quickly show you one more time. There's my team and there's Sam's team. Get your views and comments in what you think your score predictions will be, and we'll see you all on Sunday for the Foxes Aftermath show. See you in a bit, guys.